This is CBN NewsWatch.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm George Thomas. Well, dramatic story to report from Asia. President Trump is back in Washington after making that historic trip to Asia. Trump became the first sitting U.S. president ever to enter North Korea during an impromptu meeting at the demilitarized zone with regime leader Kim Jong-un. The surprise meeting came just 32 hours after President Trump tweeted that he'd be willing to meet with Kim at the DMZ following the G20 summit in Japan and meetings with South Korean officials in Seoul. The unexpected occurred when Trump actually stepped into North Korea.
It's my honor. Would you like me to step across? I'd be very proud to do that. Okay, let's do it. Come on.
Right there, Kim told foreign reporters at the North-South Korea border he was pleased with Trump's willingness to move forward. The two leaders later met for nearly 1 hour. White House officials say lower-level talks are expected to resume. For some perspective on this historic moment, I'm joined now by Matthew Ha with Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Mr. Ha, great to have you back on the show. North Korea state media today described President Trump and Kim Jong-un's meeting as, quote, an amazing event. What's your take?
It definitely was a historical moment in the U.S.-North Korea summitry process we've seen in the last year. But at the same time, it lacked a lot of substance. I mean, this was a very impromptu meeting, as you said. Only 32 hours passed in between the tweet and the meeting itself. What we need to see next is, the significant step would be, are these lower level talks? For summits to have any sort of real substance, we need working level talks to happen. Fortunately, the U.S. has a special representative on North Korea in Stephen Biegun. And if we see a working level talk process occur in the next few weeks or in the next few months, then we might see something greatly more significant happen.
Yeah, look, break that down a little bit more for me, Mr. Ha, because if you look back just a few months ago in Vietnam, I mean, it was a dramatic end to there wasn't a lot of expectation, but it was a dramatic ending. There was no agreement, nothing. So what comes next after this event over the weekend?
I mean, if we were to go back to the Hanoi summit, I think the one thing that we can take away is that President Trump stated in his press conference that there were two very different definitions of denuclearization, or the end state of what a completely denuclearized North Korea, or as the U.S. says, a final and fully verified denuclearized North Korea would look like. And I think over the next few weeks or however many months that we see working level talks happen is to come up with a common definition of that. Because ultimately, if we have two diverging opinions on what that looks like, then we're not going to reach an agreement. Yeah,
that is very, very important. The definition is important for both sides. So setting aside the histrionics of the moment, do you think either side has changed their negotiating positions?
I think Kim Jong-un is relying on his sort of what I like to call smile diplomacy approach, where he uses diplomacy as a way to, normalize his image as a world leader. But we know that he is still an abuser of human rights, still proliferating nuclear material for weapons, still proliferating ballistic missiles. And, we haven't seen a credible sign that he's interested in sort of becoming, in denuclearizing or sort of being accepted into the international community. Whereas President Trump has also relied heavily on his personal relationship with Kim Jong-un, where that's what seems to be drawing most of the merit for this meeting. But we really haven't seen anything that much different from either leader.
Yeah, and in the last few seconds that we have, talk about this relationship. Describe it between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Describe that relationship.
I mean, it seems like it's one of mutual trust, because even in the North Korean state media, we've seen a lot of vitriol and resentment coming out of North Korean media targeting mainly the U.S. government. But at the same time, they still isolate President Trump and saying we still want to work with President Trump, which speaks to the sort of unconventional top-down diplomacy we've seen happen between Washington and Pyongyang in the last however few months that we've seen summitry break out on the peninsula. So I think it really is unique to the two leaders, and it really says a lot. But to see if this relationship of trust will last, we're not 100% sure yet.
Yeah, okay, terrific. Mr. Ha, as always, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. In one other item from overseas, Iran announced today that it had broken the limit on low-enriched uranium set by the 2015 nuclear deal. Iran had been expected for days to acknowledge it broke the limit after earlier warning it would increase its enrichment of uranium closer to the weapons-grade levels by July 7th. Under terms of the nuclear agreement, Iran agreed to have less than 300 kilograms of uranium enriched to a maximum of 3.67%. Today's announcement marks its first major departure from the agreement a year after the United States withdrew from it. Experts say it would take Iran 1 year to have enough material for an atomic bomb if it chooses to pursue one. Iran insists its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. We will have more on this story and others on Faith Nation this evening. As always, you can watch it right here on the CBN News channel. At the G20 summit meeting in Tokyo, Japan this weekend, President Trump and Chinese leader Xi Jinping announced trade talks will resume. The U.S. will hold off an additional tariffs on Chinese imports, and China will buy more American agricultural goods. Chief White House Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow explained what the U.S.-China have agreed to.
We will resume the talks. The two teams will be getting together. Tariffs will not be raised. There'll be no lifting of tariffs on the remaining $325 billion. That's an important concession by President Trump. And we also expect the Chinese, while the talks are going, we expect the Chinese to begin large-scale purchases, imports of U.S. agriculture products and services.
But some U.S. lawmakers expressed concern when the president said U.S. companies would be allowed to sell products to Chinese telecom giant Huawei. The administration clarified that the sales will only be general merchandise, not technology that could affect our national security. Protesters broke into Hong Kong's Legislative Council on the anniversary of the territory's handover from Great Britain to China. The crowd broke windows and poured into the building, occupying and defacing the chamber where lawmakers meet. They also put up pictures of government officials who they say should resign for supporting a proposed law allowing China to extradite Hong Kong citizens. The law sparked protests that brought millions to the streets in June. Some 550,000 people joined today's annual march commemorating the handover, a much higher number than in recent years. Our senior international reporter Gary Lane spoke with CBN's Asia correspondent Lucille Talusan to discuss the protest. Take a look.
Lucille, you're in Hong Kong. It's been 22 years since the handover of that territory and city back to mainland China. We've seen protests before on the anniversary of the handover, but not this many. What's different this time?
Okay, we were there this afternoon. It started at 2 o'clock. I think close to 1 million people joined this democracy March for Democracy in celebration of the 22nd anniversary of the handover of Hong Kong to mainland China. But it turned out to be violent during the night, in the evening, as we can see in some of the footage. And we were there. We were there with my cameraman when they began, storming into the Legislative Council building. And I think this is bad.
Why did they do it, Lucille? Why did they storm the building?
Yeah. This is showing their anger and their desperation, but it's sad because the march was peaceful. There were children, there were people from all classes were there. And what we noticed is that this early evening, the people there, the protesters, were all young people. They were high school students and college students, and they're very emotional and they're very angry with Carrie Lam's management or Carrie Lam's proposal of the extradition bill. But as it turned out, some hardcore protesters are now vandalizing the inside the building, and they will be charged for this, and this is something that is unfortunate.
Well, I would hope that they weren't Christians. I know that there are many Christian demonstrators, are there not? They've been singing Christian hymns and so forth.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we also witnessed the prayer meetings. There were 2 prayer meetings before the March for Democracy, and they were singing and they were praying for Jesus, for the Lord Jesus to reign in Hong Kong. And as I interviewed a pastor, he said that when they sing worship songs, it brings calm, to the people, and they're surprised when other people sing with them. And even this afternoon, I heard a flute playing the hymn of Sing Hallelujah to the Lord. And another thing is that when they do this Christian prayer meetings, the pastor said that this is also a way of encouraging more Christians to come out to the streets and to also fight for democracy and fight against the extradition law, because this is also important to them.
Okay,
And,
I would say a little more prayer and a little less violence there would probably go a long way in Hong Kong. Lucille Toulousan, we're out of time, but thank you for joining us from Hong Kong. Thanks for being with us with those insights.
Thank you, Gary.
Coming up, he's an Iraqi soldier who has fought ISIS. He heard the message of the gospel. Now he's risking his life to help those who are suffering. And before we go to the break, here's a look at what's trending on CBNNews.com.
Roman soldiers destroy the Second Temple of Jerusalem. Centuries of eyewitnesses say the temple treasures survived. But where are they?
They went from Jerusalem to Rome, Rome to Carthage, Carthage to Byzantium.
Historians are silent about what happened to it next.
This is a bad omen.
Hosted and narrated by Gordon Robertson.
So does it still exist today?
CBN Documentaries presents a story of mystery.
Where is it?
Calamity. Most of the victims were butchered. And destiny.
The possibility to dig is impossible.
Take a journey to find Treasures of the Second Temple, a CBN Documentaries presentation coming July 8th.
Remember for a moment what it was like to be a child. You believed every story you were told. You saw a world full of endless possibilities. What stories will the world's orphaned and at-risk children believe? We believe the Bible tells the only story truly worth believing. We believe that every child should have the opportunity to dream, the chance to take challenges and turn them into possibilities, the chance to stand on the promises of God, to recognize their place in the greatest story ever told. They have their whole lives ahead of them. Theirs is a world of endless possibilities. They are looking for a story to believe. We will tell them that story. Will you join us?
Welcome back to the CBN News channel. Syrian forces loyal to Bashar al-Assad continue to fight rebels in their last stronghold of Idlib. Since April, government forces backed by Russia and Iran have encircled the besieged enclave, hoping to bring an end to Syria's brutal civil war. Despite the difficulties and danger, brave soldiers and relief workers are bringing hope. Chuck Holton talked to one Iraqi soldier who's found new life and now risks his life helping rescue the suffering.
In March, after conquering the last ISIS holdouts, Russian, Iranian, and Syrian forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad turned their attention to wiping out rebel groups who call themselves the Free Syrian Army. U.S. intelligence agencies report that former ISIS fighters have joined the FSA, which also receives support from Turkey. Civilians in the rebel-held areas around the northwestern city of Idlib are paying the highest price. The White Helmets, a rescue organization receiving help from the United States, has been busy rescuing those caught in the massive bombing. This Syrian Kurdish soldier, who spent 2 years fighting ISIS, talks about those who now kill for the Free Syrian Army.
Yeah, they are jihadis, straight up. They're jihadis. There's videos online when they took Afrin, how they're slaughtering people. You know, they have ISIS flag and Nusra flags. So these are not Free Syrian Army. There is no Free Syrian Army anymore. This is the people that ran away from Rojava and Idlib, everything from the regime or from us early days of this fight.
As the fighting wears on, more than 300,000 people have fled this area for camps closer to the Turkish border. Translator Muhammad Ahmad once fought ISIS as a sergeant in the Iraqi army. His life changed forever when he met a small group of humanitarians known as the Free Burma Rangers.
I said, please stay here, and I want to go to America. America, like heaven, nice place, safety place. I'm tired. I'm 12 years. I work with Iraqi army and war, always war. I want to go to America. Can you help me?
But their leader, Dave Eubank, had something better to offer, the love of Jesus.
Can I pray for you? I said, yes. And he prayed for me. I love his mercy. He cried with the people. He helped the children, old women, old men. I don't believe we have in this world like these people. This is not normal human, not normal people. This is angels. And I say, I will follow these people. This is right people.
The Rangers led Muhammad to give his life to Jesus, a difficult and dangerous decision for a Muslim. And Muhammad would soon face one of the greatest struggles of his life during the 2016 battle for Mosul.
And we see the civilians, they run away from us. And David, he look and he see little girl, she shot in her eye. And he say, oh, quick, they need help. Yeah, and Muhammad, can you drive for us? I said, yes, I can.
In the midst of a vicious firefight, the team rescued the girl and her father, but not without cost. Their translator, Shaheen Nazdar, was shot while helping the girl escape. Muhammad jumped to help his friend.
And I tried to help him. I tried to put him in the Humvee, and ISIS, he shot me in my arm. Yeah. And this last one, and 2 in my chest, and 1 in my shoulder, 1 in my leg, 1 here, and yeah, and I don't stop. I put it my hand here, and I drive in this hand. I feel it's very weak, but I say I don't die here.
Miraculously, Muhammad got everyone back to the medical facility before he passed out from loss of blood.
And the doctor, he told me, this just 1 milli, you become disabled or you be die. You are very lucky. You are like cat. You had 9 lives.
But he knows it wasn't luck. Since his recovery, Muhammad has worked with the Free Burma Rangers across Iraq and Syria to help people displaced by the ongoing war. And he knows he was spared for a reason.
Everything changed, my heart, my mind. I'm like a new person. I feel I'm light, I want to help. Yeah, I'm not like before.
Chuck Holt, CBN News, Erbil, Kurdistan.
Up next, why a group of American NFL players traveled to Israel. We'll bring you that story in a moment.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to CBNNewsChannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News.
Check out the CBN News Daily Rundown podcast each weekday with me, Caitlin Burke. Click on the show tab at CBNNews.com where you can listen and subscribe.
Welcome back to the CBN News Channel. Some of the most well-known players from the National Football League recently traveled to Israel. They include one of the league's most promising quarterbacks and a recent Super Bowl most valuable player. My colleague CBN's Chris Mitchell brings us that story from Jerusalem.
Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans became only the second player in NFL history to pass for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns in his first 18 games. That means a lot for his athletic career, but when he came to Israel as a born-again Christian for the first time, that was one of the highlights of his spiritual life.
I've always, had a strong faith, but, being able to come, to the promised land and the front and center of everything is definitely going to continue to make it stronger.
Across town, current and former members of the New England Patriots came to support Israel's football league and tour Israel. Owner Robert Kraft brought the players, along with the 6 Super Bowl trophies the Patriots have won. Israel awarded Kraft with the Genesis Prize for his contributions to the state of Israel. What does it mean to be here in Jerusalem?
It's my favorite city in the world outside of the U.S. and brings a sport I love here and people I love to the holiest city in the world is a great thrill and always inspires me.
Super Bowl MVP Julian Edelman came back to Israel. What does it mean for you as a Jew to come back here to the Promised Land?
It's awesome. I've been here before. It's unbelievable. I love coming here. People are unbelievable. It's a fantastic environment.
Former quarterback and broadcaster Scott Zolik said walking in the footsteps of the Bible meant a lot.
Then to go to the Sea of Galilee and, you read about it in the Bible. I've been to Bible school for 12 years as a kid. You know where it is, but to sit when you put your feet in the Sea of Galilee, it's an amazing experience from the human element aspect.
My favorite thing by far definitely was being able to get baptized in the Jordan River. It meant everything. Just to be able to do that and be able to go back to the States.
Many, like Nate Ebner, plan on coming back.
Some great memories, that's for sure, and hopefully get to come back again and make some new ones. But really just this whole experience from top to bottom, and it's been a very special trip, one I'll remember for the rest of my life.
During the event, 2 Israeli football teams squared off and were coached by the Patriot players. At the end of the event, they traded jerseys. Kraft has brought Patriots and other NFL players to the Holy Land before, and it's likely he'll bring them back again. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Kraft Family Sports Campus, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Chris. After the break, what everyone's favorite fixer-up stars are up to and how they are giving back.
Give me that. Bye. Sure, life is busy, but I found a way to make a huge difference in people's lives. I guess you could say I'm changing the world right here from home. I bring medical supplies and doctors to people in need, and dig wells so that villagers can have clean and safe water to drink. I make it possible to preach the gospel in over 100 countries, including right here in America. And when disaster strikes, I'm there, providing food, thank you, and emergency supplies to give people hope again. Every day, CBN and I are making the world a better place. Here you go. My life is hectic, so I joined CBN through Pledge Express. My bank does all the work, and I know that my gift is being used where it's needed most. So become a CBN partner and join Pledge Express, because you can do a world of good right from where you are. Hi, good morning. Are you ready to get started?
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Get Protect Your Sleep and live your best life with innovative information from 5 leading sleep experts.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
Discover a sleep-enhancing bedtime routine, how to put insomnia to rest, learn how to relieve pain that disturbs sleep, and much more in Protect Your Sleep.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Don't miss out on this brand new series.
Prophecy thousands of years old,
We were called to be a light to the world.
being fulfilled today. Discover how. Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life. Just call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is. This is what I'm doing.
See how the people of Israel are fulfilling prophecy
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
by sharing their knowledge
In Africa, in Asia, in South America, in East Europe.
and their love.
This is how we work. This is us.
Get to life. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
HDTV's fixer-upper stars Chip and Joanna Gaines have raised $1.5 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. The couple traveled to Tennessee last week to present their check along with a newly installed playhouse they designed themselves for the children. Joanna posted on Instagram thanking their supporters for the donation. She wrote, "Today we're leaving St. Jude feeling changed forever. The beautiful kids and families here carry such strength and hope, and we were honored, to spend the day with them." The money, by the way, was raised during the social media challenge #ChipandChallenge, where the couple aimed to surpass the $230,000 they had raised for St. Jude back in 2017. Well, folks, that is it for this edition of Newswatch. You can find more on the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. You can also watch CBN News programs anytime right here on the CBN News channel. Would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here. Email us at newswatch@cbn.com, or you can reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Well, from all of us here in the studio and back in the control room, have a wonderful rest of the day, and God bless you.